Imagine walking down Main Street, USA. The flag waves proudly. The diner smells of fresh coffee, and the streets are lined with homes you've seen in movies. But something feels off. It's the same scene you grew up believing was the heart of America. Yet there's a strange disconnect. The optimism, the promise, the sense of anything is possible seems gone. Why does it feel like America isn't the same country your parents or grandparents once knew? Is it the politics, the culture, the economy, or something deeper, something we can't quite name? Today we're diving into why America doesn't feel like America anymore. And trust me, by the end, you might never look at your hometown the same way again. The changing identity. America has always been a story of reinvention. From the Pilgrims to the pioneers, from the Industrial Revolution to Silicon Valley, this nation thrived on the idea that you could start fresh and build something extraordinary. But here's the catch. The America of the past wasn't perfect. There were wars, injustice, inequality, but there was also a shared cultural narrative. There was a collective sense of, we're in this together, even if it wasn't always true. Fast forward to today, that shared narrative is fracturing. Communities feel divided, trust in institutions is lower than ever, and the myths that once bound Americans together are being questioned or rejected outright. A poll from Pew Research shows that less than 30% of Americans feel proud of the state of the country right now. That's a staggering number for a nation that once saw itself as the shining city on a hill. So what happened? Why does America feel smaller, angrier, and less familiar? Politics, the Great Divide. One of the biggest shifts is political. The United States has always had divisions. Democrats versus Republicans, rural versus urban. But the polarization today is unprecedented. Social media, 24-hour news cycles, and echo chambers have amplified every disagreement. Politics isn't just a disagreement over policy anymore. It's a war over identity. Take healthcare, for example. Decades ago, Americans might argue about the details of policy, but today, even the word Medicare sparks furious debates, sometimes turning friends and families into strangers. And it's not just policy. Culture wars dominate headlines. Every debate about education, race, gender, or religion becomes a proxy for a larger struggle over what it means to be American. This isn't a new problem, but the scale and intensity are. What used to be a spectrum of opinions has become two poles, with little room in between. And when identity itself becomes political, it changes how people see their country. America no longer feels like a place where you can simply live your life. It feels like a battleground. Segment 3. Economics. The dream is out of reach. Then there's the economy. The American dream, owning a home, starting a business, sending your kids to college, is slipping away for millions. Housing prices are skyrocketing. Student debt has ballooned to over $1.7 trillion. Jobs that once offered stability now vanish in automation, outsourcing, or corporate restructuring. Remember the image of middle-class America, the one with a backyard, a car, and financial security. That image is becoming increasingly rare. According to a Federal Reserve study, nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money. Economic anxiety seeps into culture. It fuels anger, frustration, and resentment. People feel left behind, powerless, and disconnected from a country that promises opportunity, but often delivers uncertainty. Segment 4. The cultural shift. Culturally, America is changing at lightning speed. Immigration, technology, globalization, and shifting social norms have created a society that looks very different from the one imagined in the 1950s or 1960s. For some, this is exciting, a chance to embrace diversity, new ideas, and innovation. But for others, it's disorienting. Long-held traditions feel under threat. Communities that once felt homogeneous now look different, sound different, and even vote differently. Media and entertainment amplify these shifts. Shows, movies, and music reflect a country in flux. Every generation feels a tug-of-war between nostalgia and modernity. For those yearning for the old America, this rapid change can feel like losing the country itself. And social media doesn't help. Platforms turn every cultural debate into a spectacle, technology, and disconnection. Technology promised to bring Americans closer, yet it's had the opposite effect. Smartphones, social media, and instant communication should connect us. But instead, they isolate, comparing themselves to images that don't exist. Communities fracture online, where arguments often replace conversations. Face-to-face interaction, neighborhood bonds, even family dinners, once the glue of American life, are under siege. Then there's the economy again. Automation and AI replace human work, making the future uncertain. Technology makes life faster, but also lonelier. The America of friendly small towns and local diners now competes with digital megacities and algorithms that shape our perception of reality. The loss of trust. One of the most profound reasons America doesn't feel like America anymore is the loss of trust. Trust in government, institutions, media, and even neighbors is collapsing. Consider this: less than 20% of Americans say they trust Congress, according to Gallup. Confidence in local media is similarly low. And this distrust isn't limited to institutions. It spills over into social relationships, workplaces, and communities. Without trust, cooperation falters. Neighborhoods become transactional. Civic engagement drops. People stop believing in a collective future. And a country without shared trust isn't just politically divided. It feels foreign to its own citizens. Segment 7. Nostalgia and the myth of old America. Part of why America feels different is the power of nostalgia. The 1950s and 1960s are remembered as an era of stability, prosperity, and simplicity. But that image is selective. America was never perfect. Racial segregation, gender inequality, and political oppression were rampant. Yet the myth of a unified, prosperous past is so strong that today's changes feel like a betrayal of something lost, rather than part of the natural evolution of a nation. Nostalgia, combined with real societal change, creates dissonance. People long for a country that never truly existed, while navigating a nation that has evolved beyond their expectations. Segment 8. The psychological toll. All these factors, politics, economy, culture, technology, and distrust, have a profound psychological impact. Anxiety, depression, and a sense of disconnection are rising. People feel less control over their lives. The country seems unpredictable. The can-do spirit that defined generations now feels like a relic. And when individuals feel disconnected from the larger society, the very fabric of national identity erodes. America is not just changing externally, it's changing in how people experience it. Streets, towns, and cities may look the same, but the feeling of belonging is slipping away. Segment 9. What can be done? So, is this irreversible? Not necessarily. Every era of American history has faced upheaval. The country has survived civil war, economic depression, social unrest, and political scandal. Rebuilding that America feeling requires more than nostalgia. It demands rebuilding trust. Transparency in government, ethical media, and accountability can restore confidence. Community engagement, reviving local initiatives, volunteering, and civic participation strengthens bonds. Economic opportunity, making education and work accessible again, can restore faith in the American dream. Constructive dialogue, learning to disagree without demonizing the other side, could bridge cultural and political divides. America isn't a static place. It's an idea, and ideas can evolve, survive, and even thrive through crises. Segment 10. Closing reflection. Walking down that main street again, maybe you notice something different now. The diner is still there, the flag still waves, but the feeling has shifted. It's not that America has disappeared, it's that America is being remade. The question isn't whether the old America is gone, it's what kind of America we want to build next. One that's inclusive, resilient, and forward-looking, or one that clings to a memory, watching the world move past it. The truth is, America never truly stood still. It was always in motion, always evolving. And while it may not feel like the America you grew up imagining, it still has the potential to be something remarkable. If we recognize the challenges, confront them, and refuse to give up on the story of this country, because the essence of America isn't in nostalgia, politics, or buildings, it's in the people. And as long as the people keep dreaming, building, and imagining, America can still feel like America again. If this resonated with you, think about your own experience of America. What feels familiar? What feels lost? And how can you be part of shaping the country for the next generation? Share your thoughts, your story, and let's start the conversation about the America we want to see.